Are you crazy, Ifunanya? You turned down over 50 men, including me, to marry that ancestor. Don't talk about him like that, she snapped. Oh, I will, he shot back, his eyes blazing. Ifunanya, do you even know what you are doing? That man is old enough to be your grandfather. Once upon a time, in the loud, gossip-loving, ever-busy village of Omogu, there lived a girl whose beauty made even the sun delay its journey across the sky. Whenever the morning light touched her skin, it paused as though saying, "Ah, let me admire this one a little longer before the day begins." Her name was Ifunanya, but the villagers called her Aponaun. They said she was too special for the sun to touch her skin. Ifunanya was not just beautiful. Her beauty was the kind that caused accidents at the village square. Her eyes shone like fresh palm oil. Her smile melted anger like fire melts shea butter. Her skin glowed the way moonlight glows on a clay pot after rain. But what made the people love her the most was not just her physical beauty, no. It was the gentleness she carried in her spirit. Ifunanya was so kind and respectful. Everyone in the village knew her for her good heart, how she loved to help anyone in need of help, and how she played with children in the village. And whenever there was a quarrel amongst her mates at the village square, and she opened her mouth to speak, she spewed great wisdom. Ah, Ifunanya, she was indeed the jewel of Omogu. The girl the gods seemed to have spent extra time creating, and they also gave her plenty sense. Her mother, Mama Ifunanya, was a loud opposite of her daughter's calm. Where Ifunanya was soft like fresh bread, her mother was loud like a talking drum. Her voice could travel from one end of the market to the other without stopping to catch its breath. And she was proud, excessively proud of her daughter's beauty. Everywhere she went, she bragged, "Look at my daughter very well. Do you see her? Do you see this beauty? The man who will marry her must be rich, extra rich. It's not easy to give birth to a beautiful child like that. So, I truly deserve to be rewarded handsomely. I didn't suffer to give birth to her for nothing." She would say this while tying her wrapper tighter and standing akimbo like a general commanding a battalion. People began calling her Mama Aponaun, half in admiration, half in mockery. But the woman, she didn't care. Even the morning birds had learned to sing along with her noise. Yet, beneath all the noise of beauty and the shine of admiration was a truth the villagers liked to pretend did not exist. Ifunanya grew up without a father. Mama Ifunanya had always been a truckload of trouble. Yes, even when she was married. She was a woman so difficult to live with. Their home was always filled with shouting and quarrelings. And one day, when her husband couldn't take it anymore, he disappeared. Ifunanya had even barely learned how to walk, and the worst part was that no one knew his whereabouts. Some said he went to the city and never returned. Others whispered that he found greener pastures and another woman who could give him peace waiting there with a new plate and fresh wrapper. Whatever the truth was, one thing remained. Ifunanya grew up without a father's love. And as she watched other children in the village whose fathers were present in their lives, it broke her heart. Each time she asked her mother about him, the woman would hiss, fling her hand in the air and shout, "Don't mention that useless man's name in my house again, ever! Even the gods are tired of his foolishness. Since he left us, are we dead?" She never talked about him. Nor did she even notice the void in her daughter's heart. Of course, how would she, when she was always busy in the village market, bragging and keeping up with village gist? So, Ifunanya learned to swallow her questions. She learned to laugh through the emptiness. She learned to dance with a crack in her heart. The villagers saw her beauty. Only a few saw her quietness, especially her friend Azuka. But nobody saw the tiny hole in her chest, the one that longed for something warm, protective, and fatherly. Still, life moved on, and the entire village adored her. Before she was even ripe for marriage, suitors lined up like people waiting for election results. They all wanted to secure her while they still had the opportunity. Farmers brought very big tubers of yam. Hunters brought large antelopes. Palm wine tappers arrived with overflowing gourds. Traders brought expensive clothes and perfumes from the city. But Mami Ifunanya, she was not one to reject a free gift. That woman. She collected the gift with sweet smiles and then dismissed the men with one wave of her hand. Thank you so much, but no. My daughter is still young. Go and work harder, become rich first. Come back when the gods have blessed you enough to feed a queen and her mother, and by that time, she would be ready for marriage. But the truth, it wasn't even because her daughter was still too young. It was just that she hadn't seen a man that had the kind of wealth she wanted for her daughter. Years rolled by like lazy goats, and Ifunanya blossomed into a woman not just beautiful, but even more breathtaking. When she walked to the stream, even the water ripples slowed to admire her reflection. Her hair, black like roasted palm kernel, flowed down her back. Her laughter was like music, her presence like perfume. Men lost sleep over her. Every corner of Umuoku echoed her name, Apunaun, the maiden whose beauty could heal blindness. By the time she reached full womanhood, the number of suitors who had come knocking on her door to ask for a hand in marriage could form a small army. But she rejected them all. The village elders joked that if they gathered all her rejected suitors, they could build a whole new town called Ifunanyaville. Some said 40 men had tried and failed. Others swore it was up to 50. 50 suitors, one market woman cried. And she still says none is good enough. Maybe the gods are molding her husband in heaven. Or maybe she's waiting for a spirit husband, another replied, slapping her thigh in laughter. The gossip never stopped. No one could understand how someone would turn down all the eligible suitors in the village. Everywhere you went, the market, the farm, the stream, Ifunanya's name danced in the air like smoke. Even Ifunanya herself could not explain what the problem was. It wasn't about arrogance. Ifunanya was not arrogant. It wasn't even about pride. Each time a man came, her heart would listen quietly, waiting to feel something. She looked at their kind faces, their hard working hands, their gifts, their promises, yet something always felt missing. Something deeper, something she could not name. At night, when the moonlight washed her heart in silver, she would sigh softly and whisper, "Why does my heart feel empty, even when I'm surrounded by love?" The gods watched in silence. The villagers only gossiped louder. And her mother, thinking her daughter was only waiting for a very wealthy suitor, specially molded by the gods, would answer whenever she was asked by the women why her daughter had rejected all her suitors. "Don't worry about my daughter. You all should just patiently watch. The man who will marry her is coming. He is coming. He will be so wealthy that the whole of Umuoku will bow." But little did she know. Many months passed, and one day, a great storm landed in Umuoku. Chief Ekueme. He did not return to Umuku quietly. Mbana, that would look so cheap after so many years of building great wealth in the city. He arrived the way thunder breaks a long silence, loud, unexpected, and shaking the entire village awake. Long before his car even reached the square, people heard its engine grumbling like an old spirit stirring from sleep. Children ran after it barefoot, shouting his many nicknames. Egonile, the chief whose slippers arrived before his feet. Ike Nwobodo. Women abandoned their cassava piles. Men ran out of the palm wine joints. Everyone wanted to see him. Again, the lion whose wealth could buy a farm with one cough and a small kingdom with the next sneeze. He stepped out of the car dressed in a spotless white agbada, his beard white like unseasoned egusi, his heavy walking stick tapping the ground with authority. His wrist glittered with gold, and his stomach, round and proud, announced he was a man who had eaten life with two hands. He smiled as villagers bowed low to greet him, but the smile didn't reach his eyes, because beneath all the shine he was lonely. All the wealth he has gathered in the city was not enough to fill the hollow spaces inside him. He was wealthy, yes, wealthy enough to shake markets, wealthy enough to hire 30 men to fan him at once. But his wealth did not satisfy him. His wives had left him one after the other, running from his evil temper and pride. His children had flown abroad and barely remembered him. His huge mansion in the city, once filled with laughter and footsteps, now echoed with silence every night. And so he returned to Umuku, not as a man coming home to rest, but as a man retreating into the shadows of age, old, insatiable, and starving for warmth, companionship, and a reason to wake up in the morning. One slow afternoon, he decided to take a walk to the old stream. "Let me feel like a villager again," he told his servants. He walked down the narrow footpath proudly, and the villagers stepped aside to greet him, bowing deeply. And there, right at the edge of the water, he saw her, Ifunanya. She knelt at the stream, rinsing her wrapper, her reflection dancing on the water like a second sun. Her smooth skin glowed in the late afternoon light. Her laughter fluttered softly above the ripples, and the breeze played gently with her long black hair. Chief Ekweme stopped. For a moment, his old heart forgot how to beat. When she looked up and smiled shyly at him, something warm and unfamiliar touched him in a place he thought had died years ago. "Good afternoon, sir," she said gently. He stared at her, stunned by her beauty and softness. "What is your name, my daughter?" "Ifunanya," she replied, bowing respectfully. "Ifunanya, love itself," he murmured, with a small smile. "What a fine name." He asked about her mother, what she was doing at the stream, and her life. She answered politely, and the warmth in her voice softened something in him. Before leaving, he reached into the pocket of his white agbada and handed her a parcel containing money. "Lots of it, besties." "Buy yourself something sweet, daughter," he said. She hesitated, but he insisted. And that word, daughter, melted her resistance too. She thanked him and watched him walk away, his agbada sweeping the dust like a quiet breeze. She didn't understand why her chest felt warm, why her eyes glistened a little, or why her heart felt strangely full. When she returned home, Mami Funa immediately spotted the parcel. "Where did you get this from?" she demanded. An old man at the stream. They called him Chief Ekweme. For a moment, Mami Funaya's eyes bulged. Then she burst into a dramatic dance, shouting, "Hey! The gods have remembered me today. My enemies are failed. City money has finally reached my house." Oh! Funaya watched her mother's excitement with quiet confusion. That night, in his large mansion, Chief Ekweme sat alone at his dining table, his meal untouched. All he could think about was the young girl at the stream, her soft voice, her shy smile, her respectful bow. He was beginning to entertain a stupid thought. He sent his kinsman, Okafor, the storyteller, whose mouth carried every truth and every lie in Umugu. Okafor, I met this very beautiful young maiden at the stream today. Her name is Ifunanya. Tell me, do you really know much about her? The chief asked. Okafor smiled knowingly. Ah, chief, why will you be asking me if I know anything about her? Who does not know Ifunanya, the flower of Umugu? Humble, decent, well-behaved. She won't believe, chief. Over 50 men from this village have asked for a hand in marriage, but she chose no one. No one can really tell why. They are poor, and she grew up without a father. Her father disappeared a long time ago. So she grew up without a father, and they are poor, the chief asked, his voice softening. Yes, only her mother. But the chief no longer heard him. He had heard enough. He had gotten the answer his heart wanted. She was easy to get. She was beautiful. She was fatherless. And she was everything his lonely soul craved. For the rest of the night, Chief Ekweme could not sleep well. His mind kept drifting to Ifunanya, her beautiful shy smile. The more he thought about her, the more he longed for her. He wanted her so badly, and he knew just what to do. Fatherlessness leaves a hole in a young girl's heart that any warm fatherly voice can slip into. The next morning, he sent a basket of yam, fish, palm oil and fine clothes to her hut. He made sure he got the best of each item. Mami Funanya nearly danced herself into a trance. But that was not all. From that day on, the gifts increased. At first, he would usually send his servants, but as time passed, he began to visit himself. He would come with plenty of gifts and money, sit with Ifunanya in front of their huts, and listen to her ask him questions, share stories with him and laugh. Soon, he began to invite her to his mansion for silly reasons. The first day Ifunanya entered there, she almost missed her way. It was so big. He had invited Ifunanya to help him prepare a meal, one as delicious as the one he ate at her house. Truly, there was nothing really special about that meal, just that he wanted to spend time with her, and as they ate, he shared stories of the good old days when he was young. Ifunanya enjoyed the attention he gave her. The old man reminded her so much of the father she never had. He was kind, gentle, protective, and whenever he called her my daughter, her heart softened. She felt safe, seen, cherished, and it made her so happy. But something else grew quietly, a sweet confusion she could not name. Her mother, however, saw everything with greedy eyes. Every gift sharpened her hunger. Every visit inflated her pride. She would polish the compound before the chief came. She even started calling him our in-law behind his back. She dreamed of wealth, expensive wrappers, imported perfume, and respect. The respect she felt she deserved. Soon, the villagers began to notice. Trust Nwoku now. Have you seen how often Chief Ekweme visits Mami Ifunanya's house? One woman asked. Visits, another replied. He is now part of the household. Even the goats in their compound now greet him when he comes. The gossip spread like wildfire. Some said it was fatherly care. Others whispered that the old man's eyes had refused to retire. But Mami Ifunanya didn't care. Every time someone hinted at it, she would laugh and say, if love chooses to wear white beards, who am I to question the gods? As for Ifunanya, Her heart was quietly drifting into unknown waters. The affection she mistook for fatherly love was slowly turning into something confusing, a sweet ache she couldn't explain. At night, she would lie awake hugging her pillow, thinking of the chief's laughter, his stories and his gentle words, the way he looked at her whenever she looked bothered. For the first time in her life, she felt special, protected and wanted. And so, without knowing it, the young maiden who once turned down 50 suitors began to open her heart, not to a prince or a hunter, but to a man old enough to have carried her father on his back. One bright morning, when the sun was still stretching its golden hands across the sky, the sound of drums and footsteps echoed down the narrow path leading to Mama Ifunaya's compound. It was Chief Ekweme, coming not alone but with a convoy that made the whole village peep through their window and abandon their pots of soup. He came with gifts that could feed a family for a year: baskets of yam, kegs of palm wine, bags of rice, clothes from the city, perfume, jewelry, 2 fat cows, and enough fish to fill the stream. Even Mama Ifunaya's compound looked too small to contain his generosity. Children followed the entourage, shouting, "Chief has come, oh! Chief Ekweme has come, Ego Kalilo Bodo." Chief Ekweme, dressed in his usual spotless white agbada, his beard shining like cotton, smiled proudly as his kinsmen announced his mission. He had come officially to ask for Ifunaya's hand in marriage. Mama Ifunaya nearly fainted, not from shock, but from joy. She ran forward, holding her chest dramatically. "Chief, Ekweme the lion, the pride of Umuoko itself. Do you mean to tell me that my own daughter has found favor in your eyes? I must have done something so good in my former life for the gods to remember me this way." But Ifunaya, who had been standing quietly behind her mother, felt her heart pound hard in her chest. She stared at the gifts, at the chief's smiling face, and at the excited crowd gathering outside her gates. Her lips trembled. She felt something for him, yes, she did. But she didn't understand what it was. It wasn't the kind of love she saw in other girls' eyes when they spoke of their suitors. It was something different, something deeper and stranger, a mixture of affection, confusion, and fear. Her mother, glowing with pride, urged her to speak. "Say something, my daughter. The chief wants to marry you, and he is waiting for your response." Ifunaya swallowed hard. "Chief, I am honored, truly honored," she said softly. "But I need to think about it." For a moment, the air froze. The villagers who had gathered nearby gasped. "Think about it?" Mama Ifunaya asked. "Who tells a rich man like Chief Ekweme to wait?" Chief Ekweme chuckled kindly, pretending not to be offended. "Take your time, my dear," he said, his voice deep and patient. "Matters of the heart deserve wisdom." He stood, adjusted his agbada, and smiled at Mama Ifunaya. "I will return in 3 market days for her answer." And with that he left, leaving behind his gifts, his servants, and a wave of whispers that began spreading across Umuoko like flying broomsticks. That night, Mama Ifunaya could not sleep. She sat on her mat, fanning herself furiously. "Think about it," she muttered. "What is there to think about, eh? Has my daughter gone mad?" She turned to Ifunaya, who sat quietly staring into the lantern light. "Ifunaya, tell me, is it that you are blind and can't see? Do you not know what opportunity the gods have placed before you? This is not a man, oh, this is destiny. Chief Ekweme is a walking miracle for us." Ifunaya shook her head slowly. "Mama, I'm confused. He is old enough to be my grandfather. People will laugh at me. They will say I married my ancestor. Mami Funaya's eyes widened in mock anger. Laugh? Who cares about their laughter? Hungry villagers can laugh from now till next year. Can laughter buy a wrapper? My dear, by the time you become chief's wife, they will bow before you. You will ride on his motorcycle like a queen. They will envy you, not mock you. Are you the first person? Have you forgotten about Ojukwu and Bianca? Mama, it still doesn't feel right, Ifunanya whispered. I love him, but I don't think it's the kind of love that should lead to marriage. Ah, shut that mouth up, her mother snapped. What is love, eh? What exactly do you know love is? All a wise woman looks out for is comfort and peace of mind. Your father was broke. What could he offer? I suffered though. I saw hell in his hands. Chief ticks all the boxes for you, and you shouldn't be wasting his time. She moved closer, lowering her voice into that sweet, manipulative tone only mothers in stories like this can master. Ifunanya, do you know how many girls in this village will give their right arm to have this chance? He is rich, powerful, and generous. You need money to maintain your beauty. My daughter, poverty can spoil a fine face faster than fire burns dry grass. Think of your future. Think of me. Ifunanya looked at her mother with wet eyes. But Mama, it feels wrong. Ifunanya sighed deeply and placed her hand dramatically on her chest. Ah, my daughter. Ah. Even our ancestors married way older men in their time. Did they die? Look, we're even talking about Ojukwu and Bianca. Have you not heard of Nneka from Omweze? She married her grandfather's age mate, and today she lives in a house with 4 rooms. Is she complaining? Why do you want to waste this opportunity? But Mama, Ifunanya, please don't be the reason your mother dies in poverty, she cried, beating her chest softly. We have suffered so much. Do you want me to continue selling pepper when the gods are offering us palm wine in a golden plate? Think about it. Ifunanya sighed and said nothing more. Her heart was confused, torn between what felt pure and what seemed right. She lay awake all night staring at the ceiling, hearing her mother's words echoing in her mind. By morning, Mami Ifunanya had already made up her mind for her daughter. Get dressed, she said. We are going to Chief's compound. When they arrived, Chief Ekweme welcomed them warmly, his face glowing with satisfaction even before they spoke. Mami Ifunanya didn't waste time. Chief, she began proudly, we have thought about your proposal carefully, and my daughter accepts your proposal. Ifunanya nodded quietly, though her heart fluttered like a trapped bird. Chief Ekweme's smile widened, his laughter booming through the compound. Ah, the gods have favored me. Finally, happiness has found me again. He ordered his servants to bring wine and lots of meat. There was dancing, laughter, and celebration that lasted till evening. But as the sun set over Umuogu, another kind of music began to play, the music of gossip. The news had spread all over the land. Have you heard? One woman whispered at the stream. Ifunanya, the village beauty, is getting married to Chief Ekweme. Ah, marry her grandfather. When she had better options, another shouted, slapping her thigh. The gods must be tired of this world. By nightfall, the entire village had gone mad with talk. Some laughed till tears rolled down their cheeks. Some shook their heads in pity. But to Mami Ifunanya, it was victory. To Chief Ekweme, it was love. And to poor Ifunanya, it was confusion dressed like destiny. That night, long after the village had gone quiet and even the crickets had grown tired of singing, a soft knock echoed at Mami Ifunanya's hut. Ifunanya, who had been lying awake, sat up quickly. Her heart jumped. Who is there? She whispered. It's me, came a familiar voice. She hesitated for a moment, then rose from her mat and opened the door slightly. Standing under the moonlight was Azuka, her childhood friend, her playmate, the boy who once fought other boys for bullying her, the same boy who had also asked for her hand in marriage a year ago and left quietly when she turned him down. But tonight, his eyes burned with something stronger than hurt, anger and confusion mixed together. Ifunanya, he began, his voice low but firm. Tell me it's not true. She frowned. What are you talking about? He took a step closer. Don't play dumb with me. Then use this everywhere. They said you've accepted Chief Ikweme's proposal. Tell me it's a lie. Ifunanya looked away, her fingers trembling. It's true, Azuka. For a moment, silence sat heavily between them. Then Azuka let out a sharp laugh, the kind that carried more pain than joy. Are you crazy, Ifunanya? You turned down over 50 men, including me, to marry that ancestor. Don't talk about him like that, she snapped. Oh, I will, he shot back, his eyes blazing. Ifunanya, do you even know what you are doing? That man is old enough to be your grandfather. You will be his fourth wife. Have you not heard how wicked that man is? Ask him what happened to his wives. You can't marry him. I accept that you rejected me. I can live with that. But I won't stand here and watch you throw your life away for money. Ifunaya's face tightened. You don't understand. Then make me understand, Azuka shouted, his voice cracking. Why him? Is it because of his money? The clothes, the food, the gifts? What happened to the girl I knew? The simple, humble village girl everyone loved. Tears welled in her eyes, but her voice stayed steady. I love him, Azuka. Azuka froze. He stared at her as if she had just said the sky was falling. You what? I said I love him. And it's not even about the money, she repeated, her voice rising. You can say whatever you like, but I love him. He cares for me. He listens to me. He makes me feel safe. Something no one else has ever made me feel. Azuka took a step back, disbelief flooding his face. You love that man? Ifunanya, what has come over you? This isn't love. I can't believe this. This is madness. Do you even know what you are doing? Enough, she yelled, her voice trembling. You are not my father, Azuka. You don't get to tell me who to love or who to marry. I chose him over you, over everyone. I love him and he loves me. Deal with it. And I don't ever want him meddling in my love life again. The words sliced through the night like a blade. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The only sound was a night wind rustling through the trees. Azuka stared at her, the girl he had loved since childhood, the one who used to share roasted corn with him by the stream, now standing before him like a stranger and telling him she was in love with an old man. He swallowed hard, his voice quiet and broken. You've never spoken to me like this before, Ifunanya. Never. But people change, and maybe this is who you are now. He shook his head slowly, his eyes glistening with tears. I hope you don't regret this. Then he turned and walked away into the night, his shadow stretching long under the moonlight until it disappeared. Ifunanya stood by the doorway frozen. His words echoed in her ears. I hope you don't regret this. She clenched her fist and whispered to herself, I won't. I love Chief and he loves me so much. I am not making a mistake. But as the wind blew softly through the night, her heart whispered a question her lips refused to say. Or am I? A few days after Azuka's visit, the whole of Umugu woke up buzzing like a disturbed beehive. The sun had not even finished rubbing sleep from its eyes when the first gossip started flying. Ifunaya's bride price has been paid. Paid by who? By Chief Ekwuemeo, the one whose slippers arrives before his feet. The news ran faster than the town crier's gong. In every corner, people stopped whatever they were doing to discuss it. At the markets, women sold gossip instead of tomatoes. At the palm wine joints, men spilled more secrets than drink. It was the talk of the century. The village beauty, the girl who had turned down 50 handsome young men, had married one of the oldest men in the land. Mami Funaya, meanwhile, was walking around her compound like a queen whose crown had just been polished. Her face shone with pride and palm oil. Every visitor was treated like royalty. "You see, my daughter, the court really favors some people specially," she would say. "While some women are busy crying for suitors, my daughter was handpicked by a man of honor." She didn't even let people sit before launching into a speech. Chief Ekwueme is not just a man, he is a blessing wrapped in white beard. Some of you will live and die without seeing this kind of miracle. Even when her neighbors rolled their eyes and whispered behind her back, she didn't care. Her mind was already living in a mansion, eating imported rice and sleeping under ceiling fans. Ifunaya, however, was a storm beneath calm water. As the marriage ceremony day drew closer, her heart studded with confusion. Every night, she sat staring at her reflection, whispering to herself, "I love him. I do." Yet, somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice kept asking, "But why does this love make you sad?" She tried to silence it, but it kept whispering louder. Still, the preparations went on. The day finally came. That day the sun rose bright and proud, as though even it wanted to witness the madness of Umuogu. Chief Ekwueme arrived like a small festival. He came in a long convoy of cars and carriers, with his kinsmen dressed in white and red caps shining like pounded paper. His agbada swept the dust behind him as he walked, his gold wristwatch flashing so brightly that even the village chicken squinted. The drummers began their thunderous rhythm, the flutes sang, the women danced, and the crowd came in hundreds just to see for themselves if it was true. No one wanted to hear this story secondhand. Ifunaya stood, the flower of Umuogu, looking like a goddess carved from palm oil and sunlight. Her coral beads glowed against her smooth skin, and her eyes were wide with both beauty and fear. The chief took her hand proudly as they exchanged their vows. The people cheered, but not everyone was cheering sincerely. Some clapped to hide their laughter, others covered their mouths as they whispered. The talking drum beat faster as if confused itself. Even the village priest stumbled over his words as he tried to bless the union. At one point, the chief accidentally called her my daughter instead of my wife, and the priest nearly dropped his staff. Mami Funaya danced without shame, shaking her waist like she was being paid for it. Let them talk, oh, she shouted. Let them shock on jealousy. My daughter is a queen now. If it is easy, let them go and run it. The villagers laughed till their ribs ached. A queen indeed, someone whispered. Queen of ancestors. When the ceremony ended, the chief's men slaughtered cows, sheared the meat to the villagers, poured palm wine, and played drums till nightfall. The village hadn't seen such a celebration in years. But as the night deepened and the music grew softer, Ifunaya sat quietly beside her new husband, her eyes far away. Her mother was still busy laughing and showing off her new hair tie. Ifunaya, smile, my daughter. You are now a wife. But Ifunaya could barely hear her. Her thoughts drifted to Azoka. His voice, his warning, his pain. I hope you don't regret this, he said. She took a deep breath and forced a smile. I won't, she whispered to herself. When the last drum beat faded, and the dancer staggered home with oily mouth and tired legs. Chief Ekweme led his new bride to his mansion. He took her to the room that had been prepared for her. Its walls were painted. The lamp by the bedside was glowing, and the bed was spread with foreign sheets that smelled of perfume and wealth. Euphonia's heart pounded. The laughter of the day still rang in her ears, but now it sounded far away, like echoes in a deep cave. The moment the door closed behind them, the air changed. Chief Ekweme removed his cap first, then the heavy beads from his neck. Then, slowly, he took off his clothes. Euphonia's eyes widened in shock. She wasn't ready for what she saw. In fact, she had never thought of what the chief's belly looked like inside his clothes. Oh boy, Lord have mercy. Those clothes hid a lot. The chief's belly hung low like an old guard, and his ribs looked like a climbing ladder. His skin glistened under the lamp, thin and wrinkled, the way roasted plantain wrinkles when it cools. She shut her eyes quickly. "This is your husband," she reminded herself. "You chose him. You love him." But her chest tightened instead of melting. "Why are you looking away?" Chief Ekweme asked, smiling, half amused, half offended. I am only shy," she whispered. He laughed, a dry laugh that rattled through the room. "Shy? Shy? After all the cows I killed for you? Forget that I'm old though. I'm still very strong and agile. I can perform in bed like a young man. I will take you to cloud 9. He reached for her hand, but her body stiffened. His laughter stopped. The silence between them grew heavy and uncomfortable. "What is wrong with you?" he asked again. Euphronia couldn't answer. Her heart screamed something she dared not say aloud. She turned her face away, pleading, "Please, let's not do this tonight. I feel tired, maybe." But the chief was not a man used to hearing no. His pride, the wine, and his anger all fought inside him. What followed was not the gentle union she had imagined, but the shattering of a young girl's dream. The old man gave her a dirty slap, pushed her to the bed, tore her clothes away from her body, and forced himself on her. The oil lamp flickered once and went dim, hiding what no eye wished to see. Outside, the wind carried a faint cry through the quiet compound, then swallowed it. By dawn, the mansion was awake with songs of congratulations. But inside the new wife's heart, drums of regret were already beating. The gold on her wrist felt like chains. The scent of perfume turned her stomach. She sat at the edge of the bed, staring at the window, whispering to herself, "What have I done to myself?" And from that very morning, the sweetness of wealth began to taste bitter. The girl, who once dreamed of love, woke up to the truth the elders had always known. When love is driven by trauma, fear, or greed, it only turns to ashes before sunrise. The night before replayed in her mind, not as a dream, but as something she wished she could forget. She had loved the chief in her own way, but love was supposed to feel like warmth, not like being trapped. Her heart whispered the truth she didn't want to admit. Something inside her had broken. Chief Ekweme, however, was in high spirits. He wasn't even sorry for what he had done to her the previous night. He strutted around the compound like a rooster that had just won a fight. "My wife, my beautiful wife," he called her, laughing heartily. "The gods have favored me again." As the days turned into weeks, the excitement faded like old pains. The chief was still generous. She had all the material things she wanted. But now she realized that he was also too old for her. His snores shook the room, his breath carried the scent of herbs, and his endless tales of his youth now bored her to tears. He would hold her hand and talk for hours about the war he never fought, the lands he owned, and the wives who never obeyed him. Ifunanya would nod politely, her mind wandering far away, back to when she was a young unmarried girl. Sometimes she caught herself thinking of Azuka, not with love, but with a kind of quiet ache, remembering his warning, "I hope you don't regret this." At first, she told herself she was only adjusting, that love would grow with time, but instead, each day felt longer and emptier. The sight of her husband no longer brought comfort, he brought pain and anger. And as for Mami Ifunanya, she was living her best life. Every week, a servant from the chief's compound brought her gifts: bags of rice, cakes of palm oil, meat, fine wrappers, and even money. Her once leaking hut had been rebuilt, and her kitchen now smelled of abundance. She became the self-appointed ambassador of her daughter's marriage. In the market, she bragged endlessly, "My daughter doesn't pound yam anymore. She has servants. Me too. I no longer trek to the farm. I sit in my compound and drink malt." The women would roll their eyes, but she didn't care. To her, this was victory. After years of hardship, life had finally smiled at her, and she wasn't letting anyone spoil it. So when Ifunanya visited her one afternoon, her eyes was dull and voice trembling. Mami Ifunanya didn't see a broken child. She saw a woman living her dream. "Mama," Ifunanya said softly, "I don't feel happy anymore. I thought I loved him, but I don't know what's changed. I don't think I feel anything for him anymore." Mami Ifunanya waved her hand dismissively. "Feel? Why are you talking like this now? Feelings don't cook soup. It is normal. You are adjusting. Happiness takes time to build in marriage, but comfort is forever. Just eat, rest, and thank the gods." "Mama, I can't sleep. I feel trapped. He beats me up every night and forces himself on me." Her mother looked at her and sighed dramatically. A man can never force himself on his wife. It is his right, my daughter. Let me tell you something. Look around you. You have everything. You are lucky. Enjoy it before your old age comes. As for the beatings, husband and wife have issues now. These are personal things, and I don't want to ask why he beats you. Just try not to always make him angry, and you will be fine. Go and ask other women in this village. Their husbands beat them. A lot of people envy us already in this village. We can't bring shame on ourselves." Ifunanya lowered her gaze, tears spilling down her face. "So that's it. I should just pretend everything is okay." "Pretend? No. Who is saying you should pretend? Leave. Wear your gold, smile, and let envy kill your enemies," Mami Ifunanya said, laughing. "The world respects women who marry well. You are a queen. Now, stop crying like a village girl." Ifunanya forced a smile, but it cracked at the corners. She left her mother's hut that evening, feeling emptier than when she arrived. As she walked home, through the dusty paths, she passed the villagers gossiping under the mango tree. They fell silent when they saw her. As she walked past them, she could hear one whisper, "I think she's really lucky. See the way she's glowing. See her clothes." But if only they knew. When she reached the chief's compound, she paused at the gate. From inside came the sound of laughter, her husband's booming voice telling a story to his visitors. The same voice that once comforted her now sounded heavy and irritating. Days turned into weeks, and the village soon forgot their mockery. Whenever Chief Ikweme had a feast to attend, a ceremony, burial, wedding, or even elders' meetings, he brought his wife Ifunanya. He dressed her up like a queen, golden head ties, lace wrappers, beads that glowed like sunrise. And When she walked into gatherings, jaws dropped. The same villagers who once whispered, "She's married to her ancestor," now gasped in admiration. See beauty. Ah, what looks good on her? She doesn't even fetch water anymore. Some women are blessed. Some of us marry men who send us to the farm. Mami Funaya always seized these moments like a hawk spotting prey. She would raise her chin proudly, adjusting her expensive new wrapper, and declare, "Did I not tell you people, my daughter is living like a queen? Not all of us are destined to suffer forever." The villagers believed she was lucky. They believed she was enjoying life. They believed she was the envy of Umugu. But inside, the maiden they envied was dying slowly. Each time Chief Ekweme introduced her to his wealthy friends with that booming laugh, "Meet my young wife, my jewel." Ifunaya's smile was painted on like a mask held by aching fingers. Yet, every night became a battlefield of silent tears. The affection she once thought she felt for him was turning into hatred, deep, burning hatred. Because every sunset brought the same horror. The chief removing his clothes, his sagging belly dancing like a tired doe, his wrinkled body glistening like palm oil lotion, his breath heavy with herbs and snuff. The sight made Ifunaya's stomach churn. His skin crawled each time he walked near, and the thought of his hand on her body made her feel truly ill. Every night, she clenched her teeth, praying for morning. Chief Ekweme noticed her withdrawal, her coldness, her trembling fear. This was not what he had expected, not after all the money he spent. One night, his frustration exploded. "I spent my money on you. I, Ekweme, lifted your family from poverty, and this is what I get. You will learn how to be a submissive wife in my house. It is a must." Ifunaya begged him, softly, trembling, but her pleas fed his fury. He flogged her like a little child that night and forced himself on her, just as it was his norms. The servants heard her cries and closed their doors, and the moon hid behind the clouds, unwilling to watch. In the days that followed, she moved like a shadow. Her once bright eyes dimmed. Depression wrapped around her like a cold blanket. And the few times she tried to smile, the smile cracked painfully. The worst part, the one who should have protected her, the one who should have held her, was not on her side. One morning, after a sleepless night of silent tears and bruised hope, she walked to her mother's hut again. She sat on the mat quietly, her hands shaking. "Mama," her voice cracked, "I can't do this anymore. I am suffering. I am drowning." He shouts. "He hurts me." Her voice broke. Tears fell. Mami Funaya blinked twice, then adjusted her wrapper carelessly. "This is what brought you here? My friend, get up from that mat." Ifunaya stared at her confused. "Mama," but her mother continued. "You think marriage is sweet every day? You think you are the first woman to cry? He is your husband. You have to endure. What do you want to come back here to do? You want to come back to poverty? Mama, he scares me. I am not happy." Her mother hissed loudly. "Happiness? If it doesn't make you happy, then think about his money and be happy now. You are beautiful because you eat meat every day. You wear gold, you ride in a car. Let me ask you, do poor girls have time to think about happiness?" "Mama," Ifunaya cried, shocked. Mami Ifunaya leaned close, her eyes sharp. "Listen to me. Don't spoil this blessing with childish tears. That man pulled us out of shame. If he gets angry sometimes, so what? Pray, cook, smile, be strong. That is why we are women. Women endure." You want to bring shame to my name. You want people to mock me that my daughter couldn't keep a wealthy man after all my boasting. You better go home and behave like a wife before we lose everything. The word stabbed Ifunaya's heart. Her own mother, the one who should be her closest ally, was telling her to endure pain for her comfort. She stood slowly, wiping her tears. She had come seeking comfort, but she found betrayal. As she walked back to the chief's compound, her steps slow and heavy, she whispered to herself, "So, this is my life now." The village was admiring her beauty, her wealth, her clothes, her new status. But none of them knew she carried a heart that had lost all its color. The months that followed were the longest of Ifunaya's life. She woke each morning as though her soul was buried under a mountain. She walked around the chief's mansion like a visitor in her own body, silent, withdrawn and fading. Even the servants noticed. "Madam no longer shines," one whispered. "The chief's wife looks like rain without clouds," another murmured. Her beauty remained, yes, but beauty without joy is like a lamp without flame. Inside, Ifunaya felt hollow. Her nights were worse than her days. Every sunset, dread wrapped itself around her like a cold blanket. Every night, she prayed to the gods, the ones she wasn't even sure were listening. And every morning, she woke with an ache that words could not explain. One night, Chief Ekweme had returned home in one of his dark tempers. Something meaningless. A servant misplaced an item. His voice shook the walls. His pride flared like fire. And, as so often happened now, Ifunaya became the target of his anger. He forced himself on her as usual, while her cries filled the room. Only the servants heard her muffled sobs behind the thick walls, and even they pretended not to notice. Pretending had become the normal thing in Chief Ekweme's mansion. By the time the chief fell asleep, snoring in deep, satisfied breaths, Ifunaya lay coiled at the far edge of the bed, wide awake, shaking, helpless, and feeling smaller than she had ever felt in her life. Her heart whispered a truth she had never allowed herself to hear. "You are dying here." She could not breathe in that room. She could not breathe in that compound. She could not breathe under the weight of the life she had chosen anymore. So at midnight, she rose quietly and slipped out of the mansion barefoot, her wrapper tied loosely around her trembling body. The guard at the gate saw her but looked away. Even he had grown tired of pretending he didn't hear her nightly cries. The early morning air was cold and sharp against her skin. She held her shawl tight around her shoulders and walked, not knowing where she was going, not caring where her feet carried her. Her tears came on their own, silent at first, then flowing freely as if a dam in her chest had finally cracked. Her spirit led her to the one place that had ever given her peace, the stream. The same place where Chief Ekweme first called her my daughter. The same place where she mistook comfort for love. She knelt at the water's edge, her breath trembling, her tears falling into the stream like broken pieces of her soul. "Oh God," she whispered, her voice breaking, "help me. I am tired. I am lost. I am dying inside. I don't know where to go." The water reflected her face. Not the face of Apunao, the village beauty, but of a young woman carrying pain too heavy for her heart. She cried until her shoulders shook, and then a voice came from behind. "Ifunaya." The name dropped like a stone into the silence. She froze. Her heart recognized the voice before her eyes did. Slowly, she turned, trembling. Under the faint glow of the early morning stood Azuka. He had come to fish. He looked a bit older and heartbreakingly sad, as if seeing her suffering carved wounds across his own soul. He took one slow step towards her. "What happened to you?" he asked softly. "Why are you here at this time? You look like the moon before the rain." She opened her mouth to speak, but the words got stuck in her throat. Only more tears came. Azuka swallowed hard, fighting the urge to hold her, to rage on her behalf, to undo every wrong done to her. "You are not happy," he said gently. "Anyone can see it." That simple sentence broke her completely. She sobbed loudly, painfully, helplessly, the sound echoing through the quiet morning. Azuka moved closer, but not too close. He respected the boundary, even in her brokenness. "Ifunanya, talk to me," he whispered. She struggled to breathe through her tears. "I made a mistake, Azuka. I made a terrible mistake." Azuka's jaw tightened, but he did not interrupt. He did not scold her. He did not say, "I told you so." He simply listened. "I thought I found love," she cried. "I thought I found peace, but I only found someone who feels like the father I never had. I knew I missed my father. Knew I always wished I had one. But I didn't understand. That was what my heart was searching for in every man that had approached me. I was looking for my father in him. I ignored everyone who truly loved me, including you. After I got married to him, that very night, I realized it wasn't what I wanted. I hate myself so much right now." Azuka closed his eyes in pain. Truth hurts, but some truth bleed. "Ifunanya," he said after a moment, "you can't hate yourself. You did not choose him with your heart. You chose him with your wound. And wounds do not know what love is." She shook violently. "I don't know who I am anymore." Azuka crouched beside her, his voice breaking. "But I know you. You are the girl I grew up with. The sweet girl who laughed at the river. The girl who dreamed big dreams. The girl who deserves love. Listen, you will get through this. I will help you find you again. I want you to know that you are not alone." She covered her face with shaking hands. "What will people say if I leave? My mother wants me to stay and endure. What will she say? I don't even have anywhere to go." Azuka sighed deeply. "The villagers will talk whether you stay or go. And if you die, it will be the worst. Your mother will shout whether you cry or laugh. But your heart will die if you remain in that house." His words pierced her like arrows of truth. The water kept flowing. The dawn kept breaking. But Ifunanya felt as if the world had paused just for her. Paused so she could choose life again. And that morning, as she knelt beside the stream with Azuka beside her, She knew one thing clearly. She could not return to that mansion. When Ifunanya left the stream that early morning, she didn't dare return to her mother's hut. She didn't even know where her feet were taking her. But Azuka did. He walked beside her silently, not touching her, not rushing her, just staying close like a shadow that refused to abandon its owner. When he reached his family compound, he stopped gently and said, "If you need a place to hide here. I will protect you. No one will know you are here for now." Uloma, Azuka's mother, was still sleeping when Azuka woke her up and told her about Ifunanya's plight. She looked up and froze when she came out and saw Ifunanya, her eyes swollen, her clothes dusty, and her soul wounded. Without asking a single question, Uloma walked towards her, opened her arms, and Ifunanya collapsed into them. "My daughter," Uloma whispered, stroking her hair. "You are safe here." That night, for the first time in months, Ifunanya slept without fear. Days passed and Ifunanya stayed there. 3 full days. Azuka and his mother made sure she ate well, rested well, and felt no burden. Slowly, the girl who had been fading like dying firewood began to glow again. Every night, Azuka called her into the small kitchen behind the hut. There, with the fire crackling, they cooked together just like they used to when they were younger. He chopped vegetables, she stirred the pot. He told ridiculous stories about villagers. She laughed. That same soft laughter he thought he would never hear again. Sometimes she teased him. "Azuka, who told you can even cook? This soup smells confused." He would gasp dramatically. "And who asked you to sniff it? Let me finish before you judge." They would laugh until tears filled their eyes. And when the meal was ready, they carried their bowls outside and sat under the big udala tree in the compound. The same tree where they had once shared roasted corn as children. There they ate, they laughed, they remembered. They forgot the world and its troubles for a few moments. Uloma would sit outside her hut watching them quietly. She would smile. She loved Ifunanya so much. She had prayed for years, hoping Azuka would marry her. When Ifunanya rejected him and chose the chief, Uloma had mourned with her son. She had felt that loss deeply. And now, here was the girl, in her hut, sleeping under her roof, laughing with her son like it was destiny trying to mend what had been broken. But Uloma also knew something else, something far more dangerous. Umuoku was already buzzing with rumors. People were saying the chief's young wife had vanished. Some said she had run, but none knew the truth yet. And Uloma knew that once the chief discovered where she was, trouble would fall on her family like thunder. So, on the 4th night, when Ifunanya was asleep on the small mat in the corner of the hut, Uloma summoned Azuka under the udara tree in front of their hut. Azuka came out, wondering why his mother would want to talk to him at this time of the night. But when he saw the look on his mother's face, his heart tightened. "Mama, what is it?" Uloma took a deep breath. "My son, we need to talk." Azuka sat opposite her, his face serious. She began softly. "Azuka, Ifunanya is like a daughter to me. You know this. I love her. I prayed for you to marry her. I wanted her for you badly." Azuka nodded slowly. "But she is not your wife. She is someone's wife now. And that someone is a powerful, dangerous man. A man who won't sit quietly when he finds out she is here. I hear he is looking for her." Azuka clenched his jaw. "Mama, I know. But What do you want me to do? Throw her out? Send her back to that place, to that man? Uloma shook her head quickly. No, I didn't say that. But we must think. We must be wise. We can't leave her here. Azuka's voice cracked with emotion. Mama, she has nobody. Her own mother wants her to endure pain. She is hurting, Mama. Can't you see it? I see it, my son, Uloma whispered. I see her pain like the lines on my palm. But this hiding in her heart, it is dangerous. The chief will come for her. The elders will come. The villagers will accuse us. They will punish you. Azuka stood up sharply, breathing hard. Let them come. I don't care what they do to me. Uloma gasped. Azuka, are you not hearing yourself? Mama, he said, his voice trembling but firm. I will not send her away. I will not watch her die in that man's house. I will not sit and pretend that I don't see her suffering. Pointed gently towards the hut where Ifunanya slept. She is broken, but she is safe here with us, with me. Whether the village understands or not, I understand her. And now she needs me. She needs us. She needs all the love she can get. Uloma's eyes softened with tears. Azuka, I am afraid. Azuka swallowed. You don't need to be, Mama. I still love her and will do anything to protect her. There was a long silence. Then Uloma whispered, You are your father's son, stubborn, but with a good heart. She took his hand. We really need to be careful. Azuka nodded. For 6 whole days, Chief Ekweme searched for his young wife like a wounded leopard hunting its prey. 6 days of shouting, 6 days of threats, 6 days of restless pacing in his compound while servants trembled like dry leaves in Harmattan wind. He did not eat well. He did not sleep well. His pride was wounded, his ego bruised, and his temper boiled like hot palm oil. On the first day, he sent his servants to her mother's hut. On the second, he questioned villagers one by one under the udara tree. On the third, he roamed the entire village with his men, shouting her name and frightening goats, chickens, and innocent passerby. He was becoming unhinged. And then, on the 6th day evening, a frightened young boy came running to him, shaking like cold water on hot stone. Chief, he stammered, I saw her. I saw your wife. She's staying at Azuka's hut. Those words entered the chief's ears like fire. He froze. His nostrils fled. His fists clenched around his staff. Where did you say you saw her? He groaned. The boy swallowed hard. At Azuka, Ikogu's place. I went to deliver a message there and I saw her. She was cooking with him in the kitchen. Chief Ekweme let out a roar so loud. Ah! Get my men, he bellowed. He did not walk to Azuka's compound. He stomped there, like thunder wearing shoes. His men followed behind him with canes, sticks, and blazing torches. Villagers peeped from behind their huts in fear. Ah, trouble has come, they whispered. When they reached the compound, Chief Ekweme did not knock. He kicked the gate open with such force that the wall shuddered. Azuka ran out of the hut, shocked and confused, but ready to defend. His heart pounded like a talking drum as he saw the chief's twisted face. Chief Ekweme stepped towards him slowly and dangerously. You hid my wife in your house, he demanded. Azuka swallowed hard and forced himself to stand tall. She came to me because she needed help. She was suffering. Before he could finish, the chief grabbed him by the neck. Suffering? How dare you? Who do you even think you are? You dare to keep my own wife from me? Azuka pulled free and said firmly, I won't let you hurt her anymore. That single sentence enraged the chief beyond reason. Hold him and beat him up, the chief shouted to his men. They descended on Azuka like a swarm of angry bees. He tried to fight back, but they were more than him in number. Blows rained on his back, his ribs, his legs. He fell, tried to rise, but they pushed him down again. He groaned, gasped, and bled. Olama screamed and knelt on the ground, begging for mercy. But the chief pushed her aside with one sweep of his arm. Take him, he commanded. They dragged Azuka through the village like a stolen goat and threw him into the chief's dark dungeon, a place no sunlight ever entered. The iron lock clanked shut. Blood ran from Azuka's mouth, and his breath trembled. But his last words before he fainted were not for himself. Don't hurt her, he whispered. Back in Azuka's compound, two of Chief's men stormed into Uloma's hut and dragged Ifunanya out like a criminal. She screamed, cried, begged, and fought, but they also dragged her through the village dust, through shame and humiliation, back to the chief's mansion. The villagers watched in helpless silence. Some whispered, "She's the chief's wife." Others said, "This is why young girls shouldn't marry old men. If not for greed, why would a girl as bright as Ifunanya marry this kind of man?" When they reached the mansion, Chief Ekweme shoved Ifunanya inside a large inner room and locked the door behind them, his face twisted with rage, spit flying from his lips. "So, that is where you ran to," he snarled. "To that boy, that useless, poor, smelly boy." "I was suffering," she cried. "He only helped me." Chief Ekweme stepped closer, his shadow falling over her. "Help? You dare shame me before this village," he roared. "I fed you, clothed you, made you a queen. This is how you pay me, you slut." Ifunaya's eyes widened in shock and disgust. Something inside her snapped. "I am tired of this marriage. I am done. I can't continue like this. I want my freedom." Her voice was trembling yet firm. The chief stared at her, as if she had spoken a foreign language. Then he let out a long, terrifying laugh that chilled the room. "Freedom, huh? You think you can leave me? You think you can walk out and nothing will happen?" His voice dropped dangerously low. "You should ask of me. You belong to me, Ifunanya, and you go nowhere. If I stay, I will die," she cried. "I want to leave." That was all it took. His hand flew across her face. The force sent her crashing to the floor. Her cheek burned. Her ears rang. Her world spun. He towered over her, breathing angrily. "If you ever dare leave me," he said in a cold whisper that chilled her bones, "I will kill you, and no one will hear of it. I can be deadlier than the gods themselves when I want to be. Ask my other wives." A trembling fear swept over her body. She looked up at him and no longer saw a husband. She no longer saw the old man she once mistook for love. She saw a demon hiding behind a human mask. That night, behind closed doors and a dim lamp, her muffled cries filled the mansion again, swallowed by walls that had heard too much already as the chief beat her up and forced himself on her. Weeks turned slowly into a nightmare. Ifunanya remained locked inside the chief's house, not in a guest room, not in her bridal chamber, but in a small room whose single tiny window barely let in enough light to know morning from night. Her meals were pushed in like she was an animal. Her wrapper smelled of tears. Her soul felt like a bird trapped in a clay pot. And still every night, Chief would come to inflict pain on her, never failing to remind her that he owned her. Azuka, on the other hand, remained in the chief's dungeon, bruised, hungry, and fading fast. He slept on cold mud floor. His back carried the memory of every blow. Sometimes he fainted for hours at a time. The people of Umuoku whispered about their fate, but no one dared challenge the chief. And the chief? He walked around, proud and satisfied, convinced that fear would keep everything under his control. But there was someone whose fear could not silence her. Mami Funaya. When Mami Funaya heard that her daughter had been locked up, she ran to the chief's mansion, panting and barefoot. Chief Ekweme, she shouted at the gate. Where is my daughter? Please let me see her. But Chief's men blocked the entrance with long canes. You cannot enter, one said. Chief has given strict orders. Mami Funaya shouted back. Are you people mad? Is it not my daughter again that we are talking about? I have the right to see her anytime I want, and I want to see her now. The men did not budge. Go home, another guard said coldly. Chief says you are not welcome here until he says otherwise. Mami Funaya screamed, cursed, cried, and threatened. But no door opened. She eventually walked home, crying and trembling like a leaf in heavy wind. 2 full months passed. 2 long months without seeing or hearing from her daughter. When she could no longer bear it, Mami Funaya returned to the chief's compound, this time with fire in her eyes. She did not wait to be announced. She pushed the gates open with force and marched in, shouting, I must see my daughter today, I must. Where is she? The guards jumped up instantly. Woman, are you mad? You were warned. One tried to push her. She slapped his hand away. You will not stop me. My daughter is inside this house and I'm not going anywhere. The guards rushed at her at once, grabbing her arms and dragging her towards the gate. She fought like a lioness. She kicked, she screamed, she beat one on the wrist. Leave me! My daughter is dying! I need to see her! Chief himself walked out, furious at the commotion in his compound. What is this madness about? He barked. The men stepped aside. Mami Funaya, her hair scattered and wrapper falling, glared at him with fire. Chief Ekweme, release my daughter this minute. I want to see her. You can't stop me from seeing my child. The chief chuckled, a cold mocking laugh. He pointed at her. And when did you begin to care so much about her, you hungry, foolish, greedy woman? You think you can enter my house and dictate to me? Guards, throw her out. Chief, she shouted, let me see my child. You will not set foot in this place again, he thundered. She is my wife, not yours. I bought her. Beat her up and throw her out, he commanded. Before she could speak again, 2 guards rushed at her and gave her the beating of her life. When they were through, they threw her out of the compound like a sack of spoiled yam. She landed hard on the dusty floor, her elbows cracked. Her wrapper became untied. Tears filled her eyes, not from pain, but from helplessness. For the first time in her life, Mami Funaya felt absolutely powerless. The gate slammed shut behind her, and Chief turned away without even a backward glance. When Mami Funaya reached her hut, she sat on the floor and cried like a child. It had been over 2 months. 2 months without seeing her daughter. 2 months without hearing her voice. 2 months of imagining the worst. And now she was not even allowed to see her. She held her head, crying and rocking back and forth. What have I done? What have I done to my only child? She remembered how Ifunaya had come to her. She remembered every moment she pushed her towards the chief. All the wrappers she accepted, all the plate of food she ate, every greedy praise she sang, every warning she ignored. She thought of Azuka, the boy who loved her daughter sincerely. The same boy now locked up and beaten because of her own foolishness. She remembered how Uloma once visited her, weeping quietly and saying, my son may die in that place. Mami Funaya, we need to do something. Mami Funaya felt her chest squeeze painfully. I caused all of this, she sobbed. My greed has destroyed everything. I didn't know Chief was this wicked. I should have stood by my daughter and been a mother to her. But tears were no longer enough. She stood slowly, wiping her face with the back of her hand. Something hardened inside her, a determination she had never known. She whispered to herself, I must fight for my daughter. I must free her. Azuka must also be free, even if it kills me. And for the first time in months, the loud woman of Umuoku felt truly awake. But now, how could an ordinary woman fight the mighty tree chief Ikueme? Mami Funaya had always walked through Umuoku with her head raised high, her wrapper tied tightly, her voice louder than any drum at the festival. But on this day, the loud woman came trembling and humbled, broken by 2 months of sleepless nights, regret and a fear that gnawed her bones. She went from hut to hut, searching for the women of the village and calling them together. Her eyes were swollen, her knees shook, her hands trembled like the wings of a frightened bird. When she finally gathered them under the big udala tree, she fell to the ground and grabbed Uyego's feet, crying. Uyego was the women leader. My sisters, please help me. I know I have wronged you all. I have also wronged my daughter. I have failed her as a mother. Please, my Ifunaya. She is the only child I have. I don't know if she is still alive for over 2 months now. Chief has refused to let me see my daughter. The women gasped. This was Mami Funaya, the proud peacock of Umuoku, kneeling, crying and begging. Uyego, the women's leader, crossed her arms and sighed deeply. But you should not have allowed your daughter to get married to that man in the first place. I know, Mami Funaya wailed. My greed blinded me. But please help me save my child. She is a good girl. She does not deserve this. And Azuka, that poor boy, he's still locked up too. Chief will kill them both if they are still alive. Silence fell. The women looked at one another. Everyone in Umuoku knew Ifunaya. The kind, gentle village flower girl, loved by all. They would not stand and watch her die. Uyego suddenly rose to her feet, her eyes blazing with fire. A single tree cannot be bigger than a forest, she thundered. Chief Ekueme cannot be bigger than this entire village. The women murmured. Their anger was teary. Marriage is not a cage, Uyego shouted, pounding her chest. Yes, the mistake has been done, but Ekueme has done enough in this village. He has taken lands from the poor and no one can talk to him. This time, we women must stand in unity and show how powerful we can be. That old man must release the young girl and the man in his custody. He is an ordinary man, not a god. Wham! The other women echoed, stamping their feet. Every woman must call her husband out, Uyego commanded. We must protest this evil. Enough is enough. To Fiakwa, the women spat furiously. The king must hear of this, Uyego roared. The soil must bleed if it must. Gather the men. And that was how Umuoku women rose like a storm. Before sunset the next day, the entire village gathered. Women tied their wrappers high and carried sticks. Men came with machetes, clubs and ropes. Youths painted their faces with ash. Even old men who usually minded their business joined the crowd. The air vibrated with anger and unity. They marched towards Chief's compound, hundreds of them singing war songs that made the ground tremble. Chief's guards ran out but froze when they saw the angry mass approaching. Move, the villagers shouted. Stand aside or be crushed. The guards tried to resist, but they were no match for the furious villagers. The men and youth swept them aside like dry leaves. Some guards dropped their weapons and ran for their lives. Within moments, the compound was stormed and surrounded. The youth kicked open the storage door. Azuka lay inside, lean, bruised, barely conscious. When the light touched him, he squinted and whispered. The youths lifted him gently. Some of them wept. Azuka looked like a shadow of himself. "Bring water," they shouted. "Someone, please get herbs." Ulama fainted with relief when she saw her son alive. The women tore through the compound, room by room, shouting her name, "Ifunanya! Ifunanya!" When they finally found her, she was coiled in a corner of the inner room, wrapped in tattered clothes, bruised, thin, and shivering like a child abandoned in the rain. Many of the villagers burst into tears instantly. "Chief Ekueme is evil," they screamed. "Call the native doctor. The girl is dying. Hurry!" They carried her out gently as they would a newborn. Even the wind seemed to hush in sympathy. Oyego knelt beside her and whispered, "You are safe now, my daughter. Your village has come for you." The men dragged Chief Ekueme out of his hiding place. Kon was a proud man with a booming laugh. He looked frightened, like a goat caught stealing yam. "You wicked man," the villagers shouted. "You demon! You almost killed them. We've had enough of your wickedness in this village." The youth tied his hands and legs. They flogged him until his cries sounded like the bleating of a sick goat. Dust covered his face. Tears ran down his beard. "For your wickedness," they declared, "you will never live amongst us again." "One tree cannot be bigger than the forest," they shouted. They dragged him to the edge of the village, spat on him, cursed him, and chased him out of Omoku with stones. As he fled into the bush, limping and broken, the villagers set his mansion ablaze. Flames rose high into the sky, announcing the end of his reign of cruelty. Yes, the united villagers won and peace returned to the land. Weeks turned into months, and slowly, Ifunanya healed. Her bruises faded, her smile returned. Her beauty blossomed again like a flower after a long, dry season. Mami Ifunanya apologized every day, crying, begging, repenting. "Mom, forgive me, my greed blinded me. I almost lost you." Ifunanya held her mother's hands. "Mama, you made mistakes, I made mistakes too. Let us heal together." Her bride price was returned to the chief's kinsmen. The gods wiped her tear-stained path cleaned, and life continued. 2 years later, the drums of Omoku echoed with joy. Under the same Mudala tree where they once ate roasted corn as children, Azuka and Ifunanya stood hand in hand, strong, healed, mature, and deeply in love. He looked at her with gratitude. She looked at him with peace. They got married in a grand celebration that filled the village with dancing, laughter, and thanksgiving. Oyego blessed them. Ulama cried with tears. Mami Ifunanya danced until she almost fainted. And the villagers said, "Now, this is love. Love that waited, love that endured, love that healed." Ifunanya finally found everything she once sought in the wrong place: love, safety, friendship, and home. Now, let's listen to this elderly old sayings. When a girl grows without the love she needs, the world must be patient with her heart. When a mother chooses greed over guidance, she endangers the child she claims to love. When a society stays silent, wickedness grows strong. But when a community stands together, even the mightiest tyrant falls. Above all, the story teaches that love is not bought with gifts. True love is built on trust, friendship, and freedom. Hey besties, we've come to the end of this amazing story, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it. I would love you to share your thoughts in the comment section. And if you enjoy our stories and you're yet to subscribe to our channel, please do not skip this video without hitting on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so I get notified whenever we post new stories. Thank you so much for all your love and support. It means so much to me. Right now, I'll have to go and see you in our next story. Bye!